of you who don't know me, my name is Susan Dillis, and JNF is my voice in Israel. I've been a member of this congregation for over 18 years, lived in Israel for 5 years, and came back and decided JNF was going to be the way that I connected with Israel. I love the fact that we've got so many people from the congregation out today. One of the things that connects me to this congregation here in Virginia is our common love for Israel. I have the pleasure of introducing our speaker today, but before I do that, I want to just take care of a couple of housekeeping issues. One is, there is a board meeting that starts at 7:30. So please don't be offended if your neighbor gets up and leaves to go to the board meeting. The speaker will hang around and answer questions. The actual program will be finished by then. So board members will get to hear everything, don't worry. But if somebody wants to hang around and speak more to either Stuart, raise your hand, Stuart, or Tiran, our speaker, they will be here. The second thing is, later on in the month, there is going to be a rally in Maryland for showing support for the folks that live in Gaza. And they're actually going to be the folks that live in the Gaza envelope that are recipients of what's going on there right now. And there will actually be families that live in there that are coming here to speak. I am very proud to say that Beth Emeth is one of the co-sponsors of this program, and I will be organizing carpools to go up to Maryland in case somebody does not want to drive up by themselves. And so if you're interested in doing that, we'll call the office, we'll get together a carpool list, and I'll put the carpools together, because I know not everybody wants to drive by themselves up to Maryland. So that.
When is the event?
Monday, August 27, 7 p.m. at the Charles E. Smith School in Hunters Lane. You have paperwork which you'll all get in a few minutes.
Okay, so now it's my pleasure to introduce our speaker, Lieutenant Colonel Tiran Attia. He was the head of SAR-L from 2004 to 2014, and I know we have several people in this room that have done SAR-L. So it is a wonderful volunteer organization where Americans go over and help the IDF, and that is an amazing thing, and I've heard fantastic stories from folks that have done that. And when Tiran was there, he kept getting requests for folks with disabilities to volunteer. And at that moment, there wasn't really a method to incorporate it. And where he sprung from there, and how he created Special in Uniform, or joined Special in Uniform, I'm going to let him address. So, but we are very excited. I know when people hear about JNF, they think about trees. Hopefully, maybe they think about water. But there are so many other programs that we do, and Special in Uniform is one of them. So, Tiran, bevakasha.
Each time that I'm hearing each time that I'm hearing that people will be in Israel, it's some kind of make me excited to talk about Israel. But I'm not here to talk about Israel, but you will hear a brief about it. I'm here, and the news that are coming from home are not so pleasant. During the last 2 hours, more than 25 rockets were launched toward the Gaza envelope. And those who have the red alert app probably heard this Tzeva Adom more than once. And what does it mean for people that are living in a constant fear for such a long period of time, beyond anyone can explain? And talking about the last 4 months new terror of the kites or the balloons. It is so sad to see forests that are getting burned. It is so sad to see deers, skeleton of deers that were burned alive. And it is so sad to see corpse, chicken corpse, coop, you walk, that are burned alive because only one thing. And you know what it is. Hatred toward Israel, not because of anything else. And just recently I came back, I volunteered at the one of the fire departments that are following the kites with the fuel that is with the cloth to extinguish it before it gets to the ground. I can tell you that the site of the south of Israel is very sad, very sad. And add to that 40% of the crop of the chicken, of the eggs, of the deer that are there, all the products, at the end products, 40% of them are getting inside the Gaza Strip. This is just the remark that I felt that I'm obliged to talk about. And this is Israel. This is the situation that we are living. We fought for that country for the last 70 years in a constant war. And unfortunately, unless the sea or the sky will change their colors, probably we will fight for this land for the next following 70 years. And having said that, I'm going to take you to 73. Golda Meir sat in her office during the Yom Kippur War. She was sitting there, and a lot of bad news came from the front. And she needed help. And the only person that she knew that can really help us set in this country, his name was Henry Kissinger. He was the Secretary of State of the US. And she picked up the phone, calling him, very, very excited, very, very anxiety, with a lot of anxieties. Look, your brother and sister, the Jewish, are in a need. We need you. So he answered her as follows. First, I am an American citizen. Second, I'm the Secretary of State of the US. And thirdly, I'm a Jew. And she immediately answered him. In Israel, in Hebrew, we are writing and reading from right to left. So first, you are a Jew. And it is not a joke. It was really funny what it was. But why do I tell you about Golda Meir? Golda Meir had a grandchild, a Down syndrome grandchild, that was put in institute, in a mental institute hospital. Back in the old days, which were not so old days, people with disability or special need were on unfitted facilities. And I'm being politically correct. Unfitted facilities for those amazing children that I'm meeting by daily. And I'm going to take you fast forward to 2006. And by the way, a lot of leaders back then, a lot of leaders of the state of Israel back then were sending their disabled family so far that they cannot be spotted even. And some of them, regardless to name, were sent even to Scotland, to ministries, to another places, so they won't be noticed, and the name of someone with disability won't speak to their family. And I'm going to take you to 2006, and as Susan said, I was the commander of Sarel. Sarel is a unit that enables people from all over the world and also Israel to become part of the Israeli army. So In 2006, came to my office a nice guy by the name of Ariel Almog. He had the Down syndrome system. And he said, look, I want that her school will come to the base to work. And maybe to induct him to the army. And back then in 2006, I thought of myself as some kind of the Almighty. I had a lot of power. I was a lieutenant colonel in the Israeli army. I had more than 400 soldiers, and I thought that they would be a burden. They will take the resources, they will take all the resources and the attention from the soldiers and the commander, and I told him, Ariel, I know that you have a good heart, but I'm not going to follow your agenda. And you know, mysterious the ways of God, how things happen. In 2006, another thing happened. Another war. The second Lebanese war. And I was called to my commander's office and they told me, Tiran, besides being the commander of Sarel, you are going to lead convoys of supply to the combat fighting units. So making a very long story short, at the end of the war, it was Yom Shishi. And you know, in the north in Israel, it's some like here, the weather is like here, but without the snow. And it was raining, pouring, cats and dogs. Very, very, very thick rain. I couldn't see in front of me. But you know that Yom Shishi, Friday night, has a sense of Shabbat. When we just passed Kriyat Shmona, near Tzomer Gibor, for those who know where it is, suddenly I felt and knew what is the meaning of hellfire. The huge explosive were all surrounding us. And before I knew it, I looked at the mirror, and one of the trucks that held ammunition started to explode. And two of my soldiers were jumping from that truck, and they were inflamed. Automatically, I stopped my convoy and ran for the extinguisher. And before I reached the ground, another thing happened. A huge explosion was near my leading car. I felt heat, and I was blasted to the ditch, and I found myself very, very wet. I thought it was blood, but it was not. And seconds after, I was in a white room, a lot of bright lights, and I was sure I'm in God's induction center. Two doors, one with flames, one with angels. I hope that the angel will open. But nevertheless, I found myself in Beth Holim Ziv in Tzfat. A lot of bright lights. It was the operation room, but there was no real injury. When I came to my senses, I tried to move my hands and legs, but nothing moved. No order from the brain followed through. And at that point, I decided that I don't want to live anymore. I didn't want to be paralyzed. I didn't want to be special need. I didn't want no one to take care of me. So I decided not to take any kind of medication, any kind of food, and let God do His job. But I was connected to tubes, so it was very, very hard for me to untouch them. So you know, during wartime, a lot of delegations are coming to pay respect, to visit the wounded soldier. And there I was with a group, They were surrounding, they were near the door. They were starting to approach our beds. And one of them particularly, she was looking differently. In a way that you see that she's a Down syndrome, and by the way, they were on uniform. All of them were an IDF uniform. And the girl with the Down syndrome approached my bed, and she asked in Hebrew, "Efshar lelatef lecha et hayad? Can I pet your hand?" I did not respond whatsoever. But her face looked something from the future. That she's bringing something that was not there. So, without me answering her, she took her both hands and pressed my left arm very, very, very strong. And why I did not feel nothing, but I knew that it is strong because I saw her face. And it seems like she's making a lot of efforts. Her eyes were closing and opening, and she left the grip in some kind of an instant. She took 2 steps back, and she said, "Hakol yeh beseder." Everything is going to be all right. And they left. And after a while, I cannot say how long, I started to feel electrical currents that are moving fast and slow all over my body. At first I was terrified. I didn't know what to feel. But after a while, I felt that those currents are starting to regain my feeling. And I can tell you that 3 months after, I was back commanding the unit. I was back on my leg. I was back doing all the things that I did before. And I can tell you that at that point, my life changed upside down. And I decided, it's not a matter, but I decided for myself that I'm going to dedicate my life to special need kids because I was saved. I was reborn. And I didn't know how do I do it, but I know that this is the thing that I'm going to follow. So I called my friend Ariel, that was in at my office back in Sarel, and we started to initiate a program, which was back then some kind of charity. They came to the base, they were uniform, but it was not really something. I didn't know how to do those things, but I'm not a social worker, I'm not a psychologist. So in 2014, I discharged from the army. And the program went nicely. And we decided, me and Ariel, that we are going to take it next step to hire professional people to make this program professional in a way that the kids or the young adults will be productive. They will do something which the army needs. So we came with a plan. And we took some money for our own pension and for some loans that we took because we believe in that program and we believe that this program is a very great thing to do. But because of lack of budgets, we decided that it's going to end in July, 3 months after we started something professionally. And you know what happened in July? In July in Israel was the Gaza war. I was called again to the army as a reserve. And we decided to make a farewell goodbye ceremony for them. And at that day, an English-speaking group came. And they wanted to hear about the Iron Dome, the tunnels, what is happening in Gaza. I gave them a full brief. And it was at the same place where we decided to put the ceremony, the farewell ceremony for the young adults and doctors, the special need kids. And at the end of that session, they asked if they can stay, and I told them, you are my guests. And you know, mysterious the ways of God, how things are managed. So at the end of that ceremony, two ladies, nice ladies from that English-speaking group came to me and said, Shalom, I'm from the JNF, and we think that we can help you. You need budgets, and we understand that you don't have the budgets. I was some kind of skeptical, because I had a lot of promises from so many. But I said, if you want to help, be my guest. So we sent our plan, which was not as it is today. And they said, make the adjustments, and we are going to see, and if we decide, you are going to be part of the change. So making very long story short, I was born in Beersheba, by the way. And Beersheba, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, if you would have come there, probably you would see camels in the main road. I'm a bit exaggerating, but no. Beersheba.
See
Camels. What? What happened to your accent?
You don't understand English?
And I'm trying so much. So, at the last 15 years, what the JNF did in Beersheba, a tremendous revolution. And when I say tremendous revolution, you see the river walk in Beersheba. You see the new housing that by the help of Beersheba, by the help of the JNF. You see the old city, which was an unnice place, underestimating what I'm saying. And I had some hope that the JNF will really take us over. But I was skeptical, I can tell you. So 2 weeks after, I'm getting a phone from area code 212. And back then, I didn't know no one from area code 212. Now I have a lot of friends from there. Shalom, my name is Yossi Kahana. I'm the head of the task force, the disability task force. We analyzed your plan. It has to have some adjustment, but we are willing to support your program. I was looking for the candid camera because I and I was tremendously happy at that. I was joyful and I was tremendously happy because those amazing human beings, young adults, need to have the chance like anyone else. So we started the program. We started the program and we started with more or less 40, 45 kids. And I'm proud to stand here and say and announce that we have more than 350 participants in our program. 350 that had no chance to succeed or to do something else with their life, and they are part of the IDF, which is the common denominator for all the Israeli citizens. All of those, you know, the two kids, two young adults, shalom, shalom, two young adults that are meeting each other before being drafted, the first answer, what are you going to do in the army? And for them, that question is not allowed because they cannot say, I'm going to DAS. I was discharged automatically. And in Israel, two kids at the age of 22, 23, 24, the first question that pop up, what did you do in the army? And they have no answer for this. So this equation of not recruiting them to the army is going to be broken because our vision, and we are following it in full speed ahead, that each one will get the chance to be part of. What do we all want? To be part of. From the microorganism, the smallest one, to the whales in the sea, we want to be part of. And we have no right to this included. So we evaluate, not evaluate, we elevate the program of special in uniform, and it's now 3 phases of the program. The first phase is analyzing each one's ability, because according to my belief, each one has something to give. Maybe it's simple, maybe it's modern. It can relieve others to do a sophisticated other jobs. The second one is giving them life skills within being recruited to the army. It is challenging. It's not simple. But my staff are dedicated and know how to do it. And the third part, which is the most challenging, we are 4 years on road, so we have those who are graduates. And they are coming, Tiran, you gave us such a great 4 years, what now? And I cannot let them down. So we came with a plan that we are trying to find jobs, suitable jobs, fitted jobs for them. In Israel, there was a law that just passed, there is a law that just passed, that each governmental company has to have at least 3% of their employees. Sorry for my vocabulary, but I'm doing well so far. So when you come to a CEO, CFO, or any manager, and they are going to pay a full salary, they want a full worker. So we are challenging with those. And all of those CEOs that are not following, we are 3. 2 companies in Israel not obeying this law, not for getting the money or some kind of compensation. Only as a president, do not deal with special need kids. They are entitled to be anywhere. And if they did the army, kal vachomer. Kal vachomer?
Yes.
This is what she said. I agree. So this plan of ours, it's not for short term. We try to see them in any place that can be. So during the 4 years, now we have approximately between 40 to 50 that graduated the program. And some of them, 30% of them, are working and earning salary. And unfortunately, families with special need kids are mostly not wealthy families. Since one of the parents needs to stay at home to accept or to be at home when his child is coming, and there are a lot of expenses with special need kids. So if this special need kids goes to work and his salary is supporting his family, Yamot HaMashiach. So our aim is to see that everyone is integrated. And since we know that it is some kind of challenging, so many managers will accept them, we are going to open new initiative that we will have a special need young adults employment center. And side by side with it, we are going to open a cafe. Our future plan are to open a cafe. The immediate project is a food truck, and we have so many things for them to do because we believe that everyone cares. Everyone cares. And I will conclude in one sentence. Am Yisrael Chai. Am Yisrael Chai, and we are one big chain. One big chain which made out of units. And in order that this chain will be strong, we have to strengthen the weak unit in that chain. Probably some of you will ask me how much each one costs. And I can tell you that they are not costing nothing. Each cent that it is invested in those amazing kids give the ROU, an immediate ROU of hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. And we invest in each individual averagely of $10,000. Some said it's a lot, some said it's nothing. But this is what each one did. And it is being done by starting with the building of portfolio of each individual. Where do we see him a year from now, 2 years from now, and 10 years from now? And hopefully 10 years from now, it will be in a place that he is working and supporting himself. But we are not giving no false hope to no one. Special need are special need. And people with special need, it is very, very hard, and it's not hard, it's challenging. It is challenging for most of the families to accept the idea that their son or daughter can do something. Because they usually gave the son and the daughters of them the notion that they cannot do nothing. Not because they are bad, not because they are cruel, only because of ignorance and parenting. And the word parenting comes from parent, protecting, from sheltering them. I will give you an example. One of our special need individual or special need soldier did not know how to tie his shoes, and he came with a Velcro. Velcro?
Yeah.
And we taught him almost 3 months, 2 hours a day, how to tie his shoes. And his mother said, "You are wasting your time." And when someone tells me you are wasting your time, it gives me some more energy. 2 months after, he was tying his shoes. And as for him, it was a believing on himself, a believing in himself, in a way that no one gave him a chance. And we can do so much more, only if we will get the chance. And part of our aims is to break those ceilings, glass ceilings, concrete ceilings, whatever. You know what is the Fortnite? You know the game Fortnite? No? So if someone, you know it, you have kids at the ages. So in that game, you take an axe and you break the ceiling, you break everything. So we are taking that axe of the Fortnite and breaking all the walls for those kids. But we are not those who are breaking those walls. We are giving them the axe. We are building that axe to ruin all the walls and fence and everything that they are considerably surrounded with. I would like really to thank you for listening to my... and I have a treat for you. A short video about one of our participants. His name is Omer Lat, a great guy. He's a CP. The clip will speak for itself.
Was born after 31 weeks of pregnancy.
When we already knew that they are entering a very long and difficult journey for their entire life.
He was always integrated with regular children. So when the day came and all his friends around him got the invitation to the army and he didn't, Omer was devastated. It was really a dream that was taken from him. The minute we met, especially in Uniforms program, we understood that this is the best option for us. This moment of recruiting in the army is the moment when you feel I'm a real Israeli. It was a very emotional moment. We went inside and had his uniforms. I think that we didn't cry for many years, but the minute I saw Omer with his uniforms, I felt suddenly, well, this baby that I held in my arms and didn't believe that he would be able to walk, suddenly becomes a soldier in the Israeli army. It was a dream.
הרגשתי גאווה, הרגשתי אושר, הייתי עם דמעות של אושר בעיניים.
Omer is running there to the people with the balloons. People are proud of him, I'm proud of him. The best moment I had with Omer ever.
The first week of his service was a basic training.
זאת חוויה מאוד מאוד מטלטלת.
אבל סך הכל חוויה נעימה.
לא הייתי מגדיר אותה כנעימה, אני בצבא.
When he started to complain, we knew he's a real soldier.
ושיש לי מגבלה ברגליים ואני בסדר בראש, שום דבר לא יעצור אותי.
It was very hard for Omer, but he fought for it, and it made him very proud. Lately, Omer was invited to participate in the graduation of the new Israeli pilots. The Prime Minister asked to meet him, to shake his hands. It was very moving.
חיילי חיל האוויר בפרויקט גדולים ומדהים של עמותת יד לילד המיוחד. תודה רבה לכם.
I looked at the new pilots. I know how hard and difficult they were to get the rings. 30 years ago, I was one of them. And then I look at Omer, and I thought to myself, the way Omer did is remarkable, at least as these boys and girls get the wings now. Omer made it. He got his respect and love from his family, from especially in uniform, and I believe from the Israeli society.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Omer.
I believe that Omer as a friends, especially in uniform, is a really win-win situation. It's excellent for them, it's excellent for the army, and is a great example to the other soldiers.
Army is not just power, it's power of will, and these youngsters have so much will. After so many years of struggles and hard times, he found a group that could fulfill his dreams.
זה פרויקט מבורך, אני מרגיש שזה בית בשבילי.
כיף להיות חייל, לשרת את המדינה, לעם שלי.
גאווה, אני מרגישה מאושרת.
He found his place in the society. He found friends that he enjoyed being with them. He found the love of his life. Suddenly, he feels very good with all the things going around his life. For me as a mother, this is the best thing I would expect.
If you have any questions, I would be more than happy to answer.
I believe it was either you on TV or one of your colleagues talked about this program. And one comment they made, which I thought was very important, that you could elaborate on, was the impact these special needs individuals have on the other soldiers in the IDF.
It was me.
That's what I thought.
My other colleague do not speak English, so. We are talking about ripple effect. And it starts with the soldier himself, his symptoms, his family that did not believe that something like this could happen. And within the base, this is much more effective. Since, you know, at the age of 18, teenagehood problems are not disappearing when you are getting uniform and getting inside the army. And a lot of challenged soldiers, not especially regular soldiers, but they have their own challenges. They have some kind of a benchmark that says if they struggle daily to come to the base, who am I to talk about my problems? So you see a huge ripple effect that the army is benefiting so much from the presence of there in the base. I'm not talking about the tremendous and huge job that they are doing. Their presence is doing so much to the others. Usually we assign soldiers in some bases which the soldiers are not the elite. And in each place that they are assigned, I can tell you by 100% that the level of discipline is higher, the number of discipline problems are lower, and the base becomes much more productive base, much more effective. And the ripple effect is huge. And my vision is that all special needs will be accepted academies. Thank you for the question.
So what percent, how many kids, like upcoming 18-year-olds, would qualify for your program?
Good question. So when we filterize the numbers in Israel at the age of 17 to 25 that can qualify for the program, we came across between 3,000 to 5,000 that are potential to the program. But since I'm not the Ministry of Welfare, so the program aim is to get to 1,000. In our 5-year plan, it's 4 years from now. So this is the potential as for now. But the ripple effect is huge because when someone is coming, it's not him only that is coming. His families are coming. His neighborhood is coming. And the word is out. The word that the special need kid at 18 years or 16 years was marked as the guy from the block. Now he is part of the Israeli army. It's a brand. An Israeli army, I consider it like the Israeli Coca-Cola. IDF is the IDF. I see that it was drinking Pepsi, so yes.
I have two questions. Number one, what is the link that you have, or have you built a link with the schools?
Could you speak louder?
Have you built a link with the schools? Like the high schools, or what are the schools doing to either support or to get the students better prepared? And do students, even students who haven't graduated, so in Virginia, if a student with a severe disability hasn't graduated high school with their class, they can stay in school until they're 21.
In Israel, like the US, at the age of 21, you can stay in some kind of government facility. So we are appealing for high functioning kids. So if to simplify the spectrum from 0 to 10, we decided to address the 7 to 10, which 10 are high functioning that need only a small push to be inducted to the army. The 8 and the 9, it would be very challenging for us to induct them to the army. And the 7, they won't be part of the Israeli army as a soldier, but we are giving them the opportunity to wear uniform, to come to the base, and do everything that like the other soldiers. So in that notion, there is no difference. But severe cases are being sent to another facilities which are more suited to them. Because if someone is a severe case, you cannot do nothing, and it is not, the army is not babysitting. But having said that, we are making a mutual day for severe cases, and we are allowing them and giving them the opportunity to wear the uniform, to feel what it doesn't mean, bringing the family. It's a ceremonial issue, but still, this is something that we can do, that we are doing for them.
Thank you.
To sort of build on her question, I know you've explained to me in the past how you work hand in hand with the schools in Israel to identify.
As I said, each individual in the program has a portfolio. We are building a portfolio that says he is going to be at that stage a year from now, 2 years from now, and 10 years from now. And all the knowledge, all the information about each individual is open to us, to our social worker, to our professionalists. So we won't do the same thing again and again and again. So each one's portfolio is being built by the school, with the school, with the principal, with our professionalists, till the time that he's on his own and he's with us. So we are escorting him in each kind.
Any other countries, like the leadership of any other countries, heard about what Israel is doing and thought this is something that we could do to help our own people with special needs?
I researched it, and the only place in the world that an army is holding or taking care of people with special needs is Israel. I have some friends here in the U.S., one in the Navy and one is in the ground forces, three-star general. We made a course 20 years ago here in Fort Knox. And I told them, this is what I'm doing today, and you can adopt it. And they said that they are not in the U.S. and the ground forces are not in the charity business. And this is so not charity. In such a notion, it's so not charity in so many ways that it affects each one that come across. You know, usually, how many of us, maybe here in the synagogue, yes, but how many of the non-Jews or other societies come across someone with disability? Unless he wants to, unless he goes to. And this insight of being distant means only one thing: I don't care. And I can tell you I care. We care.
Are you able to comment any on the Unit 9900 and the kids with autism and what the Unit 9900 and the kids with autism?
There is a program within the Army, the Unit 9900, that they are taking savant kids, brilliant kids, that can see things that we cannot. They are analyzing maps, and I want you to ask me, can someone with disability save life? Do you think that someone with disability can save life? And I can tell you that absolutely yes. The answer to that question is 100% positive. That is a combat fighting answer. During during the Gaza war, the Hamas wanted to outsmart us and put some kind of an umbrella or a tent above those rockets in order that the drones won't see them. And one of the commanders of the unit gave those drone pictures to the special need kids protesting, and they immediately circled the places. And I asked one of them, what did you see? And he said, I saw a tent. Underneath it, there was something which has a different of heat. But there was a heat difference. This is why I circled. And when the professional intelligence analyze those photos, it comes to be that there are missiles underneath. So people with special needs saving life. Saving life, and it is unbelievable. How many things that they can do that we even cannot understand. The slightest first step out of 100 of their abilities.
Do people have to apply for the program, or do you have a partnership with the schools that people are just automatically accepted? Do you have to turn people away because you have too much demand?
Fortunately or unfortunately, take it from, we have now 250 in our waiting list. 250 that only matters of resources, human resources, are preventing us from assigning them in. I would like to thank you so much for listening, and I can conclude with 3 words. Am Yisrael Chaim, thank you for listening.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Stuart Diamond Cohen. I'm the Regional Director for Jewish National Fund for this area. And as you may have gathered by my accent, I'm not a local boy. Originally from London, England. I want to just bring your attention on the table. I asked my colleague over here, Anne Greenspoon, who's our National Campaign Director for Israel Advocacy and Education, and is a local resident here, to put out on the tables this material. And I just want to go through it. You have one piece on what Tiran was talking about, the whole of the program of Special in Uniform. And this is a fascinating program, and it has resonated with so many people. Another piece of paper on there is about trips to Israel. Those of you who have been to Israel or have never been, this is an opportunity that you get to see Israel in a totally unique manner. I've worked with individuals, I've worked with congregations, all sorts of different ways of which we can enhance your trip of going to Israel. The third thing on your tables is about was mentioned earlier, the Gaza border crisis and the emergency town hall meeting. I urge all of you, when you are leaving today, to take this home and to consider participating in this program. I want to read out to you an email which we just got within the past few hours from one of the participants. In this program, we have 3 residents, as Tiran was talking earlier, who live in the communities surrounding Gaza, and they are coming to this area on a nation tour to share an awareness of the situation of what is going on in these communities. It has not been covered in the media here to any great extent. We see it as our duty to bring to a greater awareness how difficult it is and traumatic to have a daily life under these circumstances, and what an effect everyone can do. Okay, so the email I received at 5:12 today from Yedidia Harush, who, as I said, is one of the activists in the area. My friends, for the past 6 hours, we've been under a big attack. Over 90 rockets have been fired towards our communities all over the Gaza border. So far, 15 people have been injured. One of the places that had a direct rocket explosion was the park built by JNF, while it had an activity for over 200 children. I'm asking all of you to pray for our safety. It's been a very tough night. Thank you all. This is from Yedidia Harush. So I urge you all to take this home, to sign up that you are coming personally to this program. Susan talked about organizing carpools from this area. You can register online to attend this program. Our goal is to pack out the room with people. And the last thing I want to draw your attention to is an envelope on the table. You have pens, you have paper. This is your opportunity now to step up to the plate and help us make a difference. Donation opportunities are here. On the paper, you can direct it towards Special in Uniform. You can leave it unassigned, a donation towards the general group work of JNF. All this good stuff. And I'm more than happy to talk about it any further. If you have any other questions, I'd be more than happy to take them either from the podium or personally afterwards. Anything else, Aaron? That's it. Okay, thank you very much.